I heard, you know who Dan Bongino is? He's on Fox News all the time. He used to be Secret Service. Yeah.
Here are two officers caught on body cam showing just how racist one can be.
He said, you know, what they're saying now is, well, he didn't have to shoot him. It's just a taser. Then how come when you tase a nigger, it's like you done killed him 27 times?
The man on screen is Hamilton Police Chief Gene Allman.
The guy's running, he's got the taser in his hand, and you see him, and he turns, and you see him fire the taser at the officer.
Okay, what would he have done if it had hit the officer? Go over there and get his gun and kill him?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or what if one of them projectiles would have struck him in the eye? Yeah. The act of him firing that taser at an officer is an aggravated assault because he has not been trained in the proper use. An officer...
Speaking with the Warren body cam, Officer John Brooks.
And that mayor up there, she's already fired the officer. And without a hearing.
Here they are speaking of a woman who saved democracy, that being Georgia's own Stacey Abrams.
Because if I had a fucking mayor, I'd rather f the mayor than Stacey Abrams.
Yes, sir.
Officer Brooks then hurls more racial epithets at Abrams and Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms.
Protest, son of a what's the matter with these people? I don't own no slaves. My folks didn't own no slaves.
Hey,
you know, what do we talk about? 200 years ago?
Here's Allman complaining about the Black Lives Matter protests, claiming his family never owned slaves and that black folks just need to get over it.
I do a lot of stuff on my family history, on Ancestry. And, you know, we're all from up north, but there was a small branch of the family that lived in Virginia, which before the Civil War, what is West Virginia was Virginia. And I did find evidence of some slave owning part of my family.
Brooks then replies he found his family did own slaves. The conversation gets worse, but let's pause here. After this video came to light, the Times reported Allman, the chief of the police department in Hamilton, Georgia, resigned. The patrolman, John Brooks, was fired after he offered to resign, but did not return his department-issued equipment on time as promised. Brooks, shouting out the BS factory Fox News, appeared to refer to the shooting of Rayshard Brooks. Here were his comments. Are we shocked? Not in the slightest. It's just a glimpse into how officers think behind the scenes. The Times wrote it occurred less than 3 weeks after George Floyd's death in police custody. Fuel was added to the nationwide protests against police brutality when an Atlanta officer fatally shot Brooks on June 12th in the parking lot of a Wendy's. Allman also said in the body cam video, I don't know if this has any merit back in the slave times, but I'm sure there was a lot of them mistreated. I don't have no doubt about that, but for the most part, it seems to me like they furnished them a house to live in, they furnished them clothes to put on their back, they furnished them food to put on their table, and all they had to do was blank work. Well, I'll be damned. As if the argument for CRT was not reminded to us enough, Gene Allman may have put the icing on the cake. Recall one Louisiana rep, Ray Garofalo Jr., a Republican who had the gall to suggest there was good to slavery at one point while discussing his own legislation. Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton said slavery was a necessary evil upon which the Union was built, and added that he rejects the idea that the U.S. was a systemically racist country to its core. This is what we're dealing with here. Bill O'Reilly, a man who settled sexual harassment claims at Fox News and somehow avoided jail time, said slaves were taken care of and well-fed. So how was this discovered? Walker said it was only recently discovered when City Hall questioned why police officers weren't wearing their body cams, and the officers said the cameras weren't working. Upon further investigation, the cameras were just full. Before deleting the footage, a city employee went through it to make sure they weren't deleting anything important. The employee found the footage of Allman and Brooks, then notified Mayor Pro Tem Ransom Farley, who oversees police.